away, and here's Jason Day over the back of the green at the fourth.
Saw Rory struggle with this in our marquee coverage yesterday. These shots around the green. Beautiful touch by Jason, and Jason doesn't have as much wrist set in his backswing and his short game. He's very sort of almost Steve Stricker-esque in his short game. That can be an advantage. Shots like this can be a disadvantage if you continue to use that into your bunker play. Really important for you to get some wrist hinge in the bunker play.
So this fourth green, one of the handful of holes that were completely rebuilt. This green did not exist. This hole did not exist before the reworking. And it is different than the other traditional holes. It's almost 40 yards from edge to edge. And Shane O'Donohue, you've traveled the world and seen a lot of golf courses. Have you seen too many greens with as many humps and bumps as this one at the fourth?
I have not, and Henrik Stenson has spoken of the elephants that are buried beneath this surface. And I know that a lot of players have been quite negative about it as well this week, and I understand that the organizers are looking to perhaps change it once more. So it's not gotten a whole lot of good press, guys.
Well, it's tough, and we'll ask Johnny Harris about it. The greens here have been talked about by these players before. This one here, seeing the green speeds at this speed and the greens at this firmness, which by the way they can measure now. It might all just be a little bit tougher than expected.
Three is a good score here, BK.
Although we saw one from Yost Loughton. Told you Hideto Tanahara hit it close. Earlier this morning in our morning featured group, we had one at 5 feet. Justin Rose hit it to 5 feet. But much like Henrik Stenson, happened to land it in the exact right spot. Pretty exacting target from 180 some odd yards.
Henrik's worked a lot with Phil Kenyon over the years as well, who's now trying to guide Rory McIlroy on the greens. Although, you know, further to your point about Steve Stricker helping out the likes of Gary Woodland, I think Rory could possibly do with going to another player to just help him on the greens a bit more. But Henrik now for a birdie.
Great stroke.
Precision out of the Swede, Henrik Stenson. And this green and this course demand precision. Solid par for Dustin Johnson. Just never know when your chances to recover are going to be. You don't just get to put the gas pedal down and let me reel off 3 or 4 birdies in a row. This course just doesn't have that.
There are stretches in this golf course where you feel like you can gain some, both on the front and the back.
Yeah, but they're 2-hole stretches.
Yeah.
which, you know, on purpose, probably kind of messes with the momentum here.
Kind of feel like that. It's actually the 7, 8, 9 and sort of 13, 14, 15. To me, that's that part of the golf course where you feel like I got a chance.
I think it's just 7 and 8 and 14 and 15, but you know, you're more of an optimist.
I'm an optimistic kind of guy.
Well, Tony Finau is out there making things happen. This at 15, one of the aforementioned holes that made both of our lists. His third shot up into the green, and that, when we get there, it looks like that short left miss, you're short-sided. Short-sided is actually the place to be at 15. Finau would make that one, and then at 16, not going to make anyone's list of a birdie hole.
Except Tony's.
Oh, just spins it around the rim and in. We spent some time with Andre Iguodala, Tony Finau, with some NBA ties as well. So Finau with a couple of birdies. Woods out.
Well, I've been told this rain is only going to be down for about 10 minutes. Certainly the heaviest spell of rain we've experienced so far.
The golf ball, more important than the player.
That'll feel good after a couple of errant tee shots early on in this second round out of Jason.
Oh, that was huge. This group can move it.
Looking anxiously.
DJ! Jason.
Well, he will have to figure out where the miss is from there. That's what it's all about in this tough stretch of holes. Second round of the PGA Championship on a rainy Friday at Quail Hollow.
66 yards, found the first bunker on the right, so a long way back. Lie is okay, but he needs to get it up quickly. That's a real example of how strong he is. Dustin Johnson has got a horrible lie here. He's 145 yards out. This thing absolutely smothered in Bermuda.
Stenson played away from the flag. Likely Johnson will do the same thing. BK, that's another one of those things that amateurs struggle with so much. It's almost as if they look at the flag and they go, that's where I have to hit the ball. They have a difficult time playing away from the flag. You've got to examine that lie, how that ball sits, what's going on with the lip of the bunker. Stenson obviously didn't feel like he could take that flag on with that bunker. Maybe there was a tree in his way, whatever. But with this golf ball sitting the way that it's sitting, for Johnson, he will likely do the same thing too, play away from that flag.
Yeah, I agree. Just try to get up on that.
That's exactly what they're talking about. Just trying to get it on the front. He doesn't like the lie.
And that is exactly what he did.
You can listen to the former PGA Teacher of the Year, Michael Breed, or you can listen to the current world #1 ranked player, Dustin Johnson. They're both telling you the same thing. And even aiming over there couldn't get it on the green. Jason Day, though, gets to play a little offense here, Shane. And there's a lot of room between that bunker and that flagstick. Way more than it looks like from here. Just 114. And he needed to hit one more step. Just shot off the downslope. Yeah, well, when he goes up and sees where it lands, he'll understand. Needed to go 1 yard farther. And now Day is busy at the 5th. Back with you here in the second round of the PGA Championship. PGA.com. First day on the job for some of us. Henrik Stenson here. Short and left. He's got the whole green to deal with here.
How about it? Those are shots you don't get to practice a lot. You know, it's not very often that you have a green, and they don't have a green out here that has that kind of length to it as what Henrik faced. Just shows you the talent level.
Henrik lives down in the Orlando area, Lake Nona. Very familiar with these Bermuda surfaces. Dustin, similar shot here, Michael. It looks like he's got a different plan.
And it may be a different club as far as loft or no loft. He may be putting it, his proximity to the front edge of the green there. That flag is 23 yards onto the green, but at this angle, this could be 80, 90 feet. And he's hit it about 2/3 of the way.
Now Dustin from the Myrtle Beach area, but now lives out on the West Coast, at least a lot of the year. And sometimes it's not just familiarity, sometimes you just missed it. Now Jason Day, from the body language that he gave as we were going to break, he understood his ball just landed on the downslope and shot back to here, but good enough that he thinks he can get putter on it. Hit one of the biggest drives of the day on this hole, just 114 yards, and now 5 feet left for par.
Well, you used the word moments ago, precision. That is what this golf course demands.
Well, this green, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all rebuilt during the remodeling. And Tom Fazio knows that these guys like Dustin Johnson, can hit it so far. Really, the only way to control scoring is to demand precision. Make the fairway mean something. Make hitting your spot mean something. And as good as these guys are, that is exceedingly hard to do as a golf course architect. Well, he managed to do it in these first 5 holes. This is for par. You see the grain change there.
Some players in this field think that he did it all 18, right? Boom.
Oh. Coming up, as soon as these guys finish this hole, those of you watching right now, we're going to also be on our colleagues and partners at TNT. They're going to give us a live look in on our featured group coverage, so we appreciate you being along with that ride. They are, of course, airing the tournament coverage right now. We are going to stay with this featured group until they finish. That's about to happen. That's a very exciting moment for Michael and I. We wore matching shirts just for that.
It's actually an exciting moment for my kids, who I haven't seen in a little while. And I just got a text message from my wife saying that they miss me very much, which is so nice to hear that, because the opposite is not what you want to hear.
No, it's
stay a few more days.
Generally, you don't hear the opposite. They kind of lose the number. Stenson with a hard-working par, had to play out left of the green, able to figure out a way to make a 4. Jason Day had 114 yards in, and he is also trying to figure out a way to make a 4.
just in the right side of the hole.
It was a hard-working trip. Now DJ is going to drop one. And just one. So 2 bogeys for Dustin Johnson. He heads to 6. A couple over for the day. Oh, I love that that's official, Ernie. Thank you very much. Michael Breed signing him up. You got another student.
I can't wait till it switches and he starts working on my 3-point shot from the corner, which he professes is his favorite.
Well, we have been watching featured group coverage all day long. We saw Chris Kirk, Matt Kuchar, and Justin Rose earlier today, and now this group with Henrik Stenson, Jason Day, and Dustin Johnson, all players that have been #1 in the world. DJ, the current world #1, as they reach the par 3 6th.
243 yards today. Hole is located 11 paces on.
And the wind is also picking up ever so slightly, so into Henrik Stenson's face, just off the right.
The voice of Shane O'Donoghue, who's on the golf course with us.
Shadows are out.
And thankfully the rain has disappeared temporarily. A little bit of sunshine trying to peek through. This is a very long and testing par 3.
Just 4 birdies on this hole today, ranking the 4th most challenging hole.
Plays 7 downhill. That's part of the calculations here.
Been an awful lot of shots that have missed short and left. If you're going to get this close to the hole, you want to land this right around 230 yards, which is the number just about to the front edge.
He is going right at it.
95-foot apex. Shows you just how flat he hits the ball. Watch the apex of this shot here. Jason Day, one of the longest or highest hitters out on tour.
Now Day missed his spot by a step back on the 5th and had to scramble for par.
See that shot apexing at 126 feet, extremely high, and shows you just how firm the green is. That ball released maybe 30 feet. Green kind of releases that way as well.
And everything about the terrain here moves from right to left. To get this one really close, as firm as it is, as we've seen all morning long on our featured group coverage, you really need to work this in to the right. Saw Henrik Stenson's ball on line but short. Now Dustin Johnson
from the far right side of the tee, so you know he's trying to play that left to right shot.
the hole. Go, DJ. You got DJ.
Another 125-foot apex.
But not quite enough. So the struggles continue here at Quail Hollow in our featured group. Ernie, we're going to keep watching him on PGA.com, and I know you guys are going to keep watching on TNT. Well, the struggles for this group continue, and the struggles are going to continue until they get to 7. Then they can get a couple in a row, maybe 7 and 8, as we watch these guys tiptoe through this tricky layout. Day 1 over today. Dustin a couple over today. Henrik Stenson actually under par for the day. The lone birdie on the card. He's made the only birdie of the group so far. We know this group has the firepower. All 3 major champions, all 3 former world number 1 players. Michael, you come to a hole like this, they give you that hole location over there on the right, and they say you can't hit a draw to this one. If you can't hit a fade, what do you do?
Lay up. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Work for Billy Casper at Wingfoot on his way to.
Is that 3 or 4? Which was it? What par 3 was that?
That's the 3rd hole. The first
hole.
par 3. It was probably a 200 and change yard hole. He hit 6 iron all 4 days, and then pitched to the hole locations and made 4 pars. Which you can make a double bogey at that hole so fast.
A.W. Tillinghast punishes left and right severely, but not short. This actually has some Tillinghast flavoring to it.
Yeah.
You see a couple short, and Dustin Johnson over there, front left, that may be the easiest position to make 3 from.
And there's been an awful lot of shots that have missed in this shortish area.
Little false front that he's going to walk up. He gets to the top of it right about there. From there, everything's going to work to the left. But he's uphill, and he's actually working kind of into the grain.
He's just trying to figure out where he wants to land this. He's probably looking at an area somewhere in here where he wants to land that golf ball, and so much of this is the club selection and marrying that with spin.
And he's got a little downhill stance as well here, Michael. And
he took it way up into the air.
Higher. It was a risky play.
Tried to eliminate that ridge that carries about 8 yards into the green, rather than try to flight it a little bit lower. That ridge will kind of end sort of in that area there. This will not be a problem for Henrik, as he is to the right of that ridge. This is a fairly straightforward chip shot, and one that I don't know if I'm going to be able to go David Ledbetter like, but he could. This is holeable here.
Yeah, good call.
So Jason Day trying to figure out where exactly he needs to hit this one as far as height is concerned. He needs to factor in maybe 18 inches 2 feet left as he plots this line to the hole. It's quite a swing from left to right.
I've always thought that Jason was a really good long putter. And one of the reasons why is he just makes such solid contact. It's almost like he never misses the center of the face in his putts, and he's so diligent in his routine.
He might have to make this putt around 7 o'clock, maybe even 8 o'clock. You like the clock?
I love the clock. Is it his time? Sorry. Excellent play there.
Shane, sun coming back out after about 20 minutes of rain. You ought to be feeling right at home as an Irishman. Humidity?
Not used to this humidity, I can tell you that for starters.
Somebody just turned the sun on out there. Good 3 for Jason Day. He was in a defensive position there at the 6th. And now Dustin, who immediately looked down at the turf, Michael, after this one carried a little farther than he was expecting.
This putt here is going to be a little bit on the quick side and may just drip to his right.
Very fast. So another drop shot for Dustin Johnson. 3 bogeys today. Still quite safe with regards to the cut line. Not the day he was looking to have. A chance to recover as Stenson taps in. They head to a reachable par 5, a scoreable hole at the 7th.
Absolutely, guys. Just had a nice little chat with Jason Day there as well. Still smarting after that wedge that he hit on the previous hole. Couldn't believe how that one just bounded on. But confirming that the greens are firm and fast, and all the hole locations, the pin positions, whatever you want to call them, they're all on spines. Straight
for the day. This is the strong fairway wood for Henrik Stenson. This is his favorite.
Reaching this in 2 is not a problem, provided he hits it in the fairway. Ooh. And now it is a problem.
Still make birdie if you have to lay up. Keep it on the property. And this is one of the few places on this beautiful core layout where you can find off the property.
breeze is picked up as well here. Just a little behind these guys. Nothing like a cool breeze on a day like today, I can tell you.
Jason on the right side of this tee, likely aiming inside those bunkers down the left-hand side.
Don't. Get lucky. Get lucky.
That got lucky.
It didn't hit the cameraman. It looked like it hit him.
He's the one who got lucky.
He got lucky, exactly. That is really good right now.
And the breeze strengthening even more, and from behind as Dustin Johnson gets ready to launch one down this long par 5.
He will try to move this back to the right.
Oh, hang on. Right
Uh-oh.
there. Hang on, right there.
Oh, and that looks like it may have bounced down into the hazard. We will find out when we come back. Plus a special guest, Johnny Harris, who put that hazard there, sort of, when we come back. Which one of these houses over here on the right-hand side of this hole is yours?
None, but
Okay.
the big one to the right over there is my brother's. He lives there. I can't afford the neighborhood.
Shane, do we know, did this ball stop for Dustin?
You know something? He got the luck of the Irish. He's in the hazard, but he's not in the water, so he'll be able to get a club to this. Dustin has the magic number of 193 to the hole, which is obviously front left.
Clearly couldn't have dropped the ball there, so we'll see if he can make it work from there.
Take advantage of that break. That was great fortune.
And when you were talking about laying out this golf course and positioning bunkers, Mr. Harris, did you see 341 coming?
We never saw 341. Tom Fazio kept saying it would be long enough. I think it's long enough, but the harder and firmer the fairways, the better it is.
And you were just sharing with us that the tee box had been shifted or moved because of Kerry Haig's sort of vision of this hole.
Correct. And then the area where Dustin's ball landed is Tiff Grand, and the surrounds of all the greens now are Tiff Grand and Champion Bermuda on the greens. You can see the coloration.
Oh, Jason Day! Come on! Just that close to a special moment in front of a special guest. He stiffs it for eagle at the 7th. Johnny Harris with us on PGA.com when we come back. Just like that, 1 under par for the day, 2 under par for the championship.
Johnny, when you look at Kevin Kisner at 8 under through 2 rounds, and all the work that you and everybody here have done, the PGA included, in getting the golf course ready, did you anticipate that type of scoring through 2 rounds?
Well, I think I've been around golf enough to know that the first 2 rounds are always the time when the people that are playing the loosest score the best. And I certainly expect the cream to begin to rise up, and the people that we've all thought would be in this tournament begin to be in it the last 2 days. And I hope that Kevin holds on and plays really well and is in the mix at the end. But I did think somebody might go out and shoot 6 to 8. But only 1 or 2 people. So
yeah,
it's if there were 5 people at 8, I'd be a little bit more concerned.
Now Stenson's 4th. You going to skip this in there, Johnny? You going to hit this a couple times before the green? No, you're going to go skyward. He's going low, and he should have gone up.
well, he is making a mess of this hole.
That is back-to-back regrettable wedge shots for Henrik Stenson. Now Dustin Johnson, it looks like he's got putter.
He does have the putter. He's got about 20 feet to go through to make it onto the putting surface.
Playing conservatively out to the right.
The guys, Jason Day's eagle was a drive at an 8-iron.
Don't say that with Johnny Harris listening. He's got Tom Fazio's phone number. Put the tee in his brother's front yard.
I can hear the dozers already.
And leave the house.
Putting in a new one.
No.
So how do you balance that, especially to the members? Do you guys, it's seemingly such a golf-savvy membership, do you understand how much better these guys are than everybody else? Can you wipe away something like that?
Sure. It doesn't, I think you have to understand our par fives have always been accessible and the easiest part of the golf course. So we'll look at that, but we see no reason to change those. In fact, there are a lot of the players have come to me and said, why don't you go back and make number one, play it all the way back, and let's make it a par five. Well, we don't make that decision. Kerry Hay makes the decision. And when we have the President's Cup in 21, it'll be interesting to see what those guys want to do too.
Here's our property. Conform it how you'd like.
Well, that just as long as it's true to the game. As long as it's true to the game. They don't goof it up.
Stenson for his par, and that was a sloppy trip down the 7th.
Johnny, one of the things that's been so impressive to me too is, as I've walked around the property, how friendly the course is to the players, to the patrons, to the spectators that come here. You can see a lot of the golf course. It's a big piece of property and very generous to all those that are coming and watching the event.
I think that's right, and it's 230 acres, and if you realize it, you go out 3 holes, come back, go out 2 holes, come back, and then play the last 4 holes and come back on almost every side. So it's one that's easy to work. We lucked into that, and then when Tom redid everything, it just got better.
You take some of those 3-hole loops yourself as we watch Dustin Johnson for his birdie?
We actually do that and have fun doing it. Oh.
These guys have had to be so respectful of these greens because of the speed in them. They're perfect. You talked about picking the perfect surface.
Well, I think we're pleased with that because it is, all of them have been so positive about it, and I think Kerry's very positive about the condition of the greens and the whole golf course for that matter. I'm just sorry we had a little rain to start with because it did soften it up and made it longer because our fairways normally play harder than this. And thus it moves the ball into the rough more.
You mean firmer? Firmer, yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean harder. I mean firmer. I'm sorry.
Disappointing par for Dustin Johnson. However, the tee shot was headed toward the hazard on the right. Possibly could have sold him a 5 at that point.
Do you have a favorite hole out here? I know it's a hard question. It's like asking a parent who their favorite child is, but do you have a favorite hole or shot?
I think the favorite hole right now would be one of the new ones, which is number 11. I think that changed that hole dramatically, taking the trees out on the left and putting the bunkers in, and the way it sets up for me, and I draw the ball. I love that part of it. I think it's really funny. I actually like this hole a lot, number 7, that they just finished, but it drives me crazy.
Because?
I want to draw the ball, and sometimes I try to go after it too hard on those holes, and it doesn't draw like it was supposed to. I can duck hook it, but not draw it.
Day, try to get it all the way up there at the 8th.
Oh, yeah. How you going?
And he almost got it onto the front. What a tee shot from Jason Day. This hole at 350 on the card looks drivable, but then you realize it plays uphill on both shots. That's both for the rest of us. All 3 for some of us.
Yeah, the drive and the chip.
Mm-hmm. Well, the drive and the 9-iron and the chip.
Yeah. It's amazing how far they hit the golf ball nowadays.
DJ has got a nice target out there.
He gave that a little extra at the bottom there, Johnny.
Oh, it was going to be close. It flies into the greenside bunker. If it was 2 feet left, it would have been up there next to Jason Day's.
He's just a little bit off form right now. Just a little bit.
I'll give him 2 feet at 325 yards.
No, but I mean, you know, the tee shot back at the last hole, he was fortunate it didn't go into the hazard. And
they've even baited Henrik Stenson into a driver. And they knocked that tree away.
I'm thinking that 6 back on the par 5 kind of helped choose that driver as well.
Johnny Harris, thank you for your vision and your hospitality. What a week at Quail Hollow.
Well, thanks for having me, and good luck with the rest of the tournament, guys. You do a great job.
It's great to see you again. Been a long time.
Here with you.
Here for the people as much as we are for the golf course.
That's exactly right.
Back with more feature group coverage on PGA.com.
Comfortable enough over it, but you know, there is this big spine on the green that he really has to make sure that he's on the right side of it. And it's quite a lengthy bunker shot, as Michael was outlining. Stenson will be first to go.
You can see some of the golf ball here. How's that lie?
It has settled down.
Yeah.
Very well played from that line.
Yeah, not an easy judge of distance. Very well done.
Now Dustin.
As well.
Yeah, equally as good.
Yeah.
A full-on short game clinic going on.
And I think one of the things that happens on that shot is as the greens get firmer, that shot gets a little bit easier because you don't have to carry the ball quite so far. If the greens are softer, the bigger the swing you have to make in a bunker, the more precise you have to be in getting that ball to travel a distance, 30 yards, 40 yards. That's when that gets a little more challenging.
Well, the ridge is the thing that really is something to contend with for Jason Day here. Not a whole lot of room just on the top of that shelf as he plays. The ridge itself is kind of going diagonally against him.
I love this technique. Not a lot of wrist hinge, and those hand path will move to the left abruptly. Did he spin it enough? Yes.
And again, a perfect example of the way he plays it. Just beautiful feel as well, Michael.
Yeah.
Just great confidence with that particular club. No insecurity whatsoever. Beautifully played.
Yeah. 3 good birdie opportunities here.
Such a tiny little shelf where this whole location is, only 4 steps behind it. We talked to Johnny Harris during the break about hearing some of the criticism of the greens. I asked him specifically how are the members taking that? He said, well, they don't like some of the greens either. He's a good leader, that Johnny Harris. Isn't that just the nature of the game?
Nobody is going to like everything you do. Not everybody is going to like everything you do. There will always be people that don't approve. Okay, there's one birdie.
And he needed that one.
Yep.
3 over today. So back to 2 over for the round so far through 8 holes.
cut is drifting to +5. That important for you and me, BK, as Adam Scott is sitting at +5. And
yes, everybody wants to talk about their fantasy team. Nobody ever wants to hear about anybody else's fantasy team, but they want to talk about it. We're big Adam Scott fans right now. I think the 5s are going to make it, and I think the 6s have a chance.
do you think it gets to 6?
I think the 6s have a chance.
Justin Rose in that number at 6. Kevin Na went 79-69. He also at +6. Bubba Watson, Sergio Garcia, Thomas Peters, all at +6.
Delicate.
Oh. Well, I don't know if you saw that or not, but when he took that back, it almost looked like the handle moved and the head of the golf club did not move. When that happens, that obviously is going to shut the face. If you retain that same wrist position as you go through, almost like how Ben Hogan used to take the club back.
I think he didn't want the putter head to move because he knew it was going to make the ball go forward.
Just keep the head cover on it.
Yeah.
Don't even take that. Just leave the head cover on and go ahead and hit it.
Shane, this is a putt that Jason would hit right edge and firm almost every time, but you can't do that here.
You cannot. This is a slippery one. It requires a lot of touch. But you know, he's in a really good frame of mind right now. He's making some really good solid progression up the leaderboard. He goes even further up as a courtesy of that beautiful birdie.
Eagle birdie through 7 and 8.
Yeah, anytime you have a scorecard that reads 3-4-3-3-3, you're probably doing pretty good.
Jason Day has a lot of confidence right now as he goes to the tee at the 9th. Up and coming golfers explain how confidence is so important to playing in a major as they take on Quail Hollow Club at the 2017 PGA Championship.
It's nice to come to a big event in good form, but it's probably the most important thing. You know, if you're confident, then it doesn't matter really how anything else goes.
If you're confident coming in, whether you play nicely or even if you feel like your game's close, it's certainly a big thing for that first round. It really gives you the momentum from going into it.
You got 4 majors and all the top players in the world are here, so you need to bring your A game and you know, walk around like you know that you can win.
The rain has subsided. Kevin Kisner's lead continues. It's now 4. He's finished. Louis Oosthuizen, 3 under today, 4 under for the week. The only player now 4 shots back. Here comes Jason Day.
We heard Johnny Harris say it, that he felt that the cream would rise to the top, and if you look at and no disrespect to anybody up there, but the Jason Day, Ricky Fowler, Hideki Matsuyama, those are the people that most players, most people, most everybody expected to be in the hunt for this championship.
To the tee at the 9th.
Not a breath of wind here. Just beautiful hole for Jason Day to really pump one out here.
He's gained some confidence with that driver. Look at how high that apex was, 133 feet.
Everyone talks about how athletic Dustin Johnson is, but you have to hand it to Jason Day. He gives it absolutely everything and so physically ready. this week. While he can be a little mercurial on the physical side, but he gave that everything. Now, what can DJ do to match Day's effort?
Leaning as if he lost this to the right.
Did indeed.
Oh, and look at it, it's just still going. It may have, well, it didn't get all the way down to the cart path, but it got close. Maybe it did. It did. It's still going. It's going to show up. There it goes. It's getting closer to the green. He might have made it by the time we get back to that. Might go in.
Reminds you of Tiger Woods in that playoff.
Valhalla?
Yep. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Now Stenson.
Of all of the things that people yell out,
yeah,
that may be my least favorite.
He was at the British Open. Several of them with accents. From the bleachers tweeting, Jason Day is dialed in right now. Can he go 4 under in a 3-hole stretch? We'll find out when we come back. The wedge in there. Lots of different ways to make birdies at Quail Hollow. Back to 5 under par, actually back to 6 under par. He would par his way through the green mile, including the first hole. All pars until he got to the 7th. Right in front in 2, using the putter, much like Dustin Johnson did, and this one was read perfectly. Kevin Kisner with the eagle to put a charge in the leaderboard. Second consecutive 67. And a 4-shot lead. To the 9th. And Henrik Stenson.
228.
Not bad from that distance. Yeah, shrug your shoulders. That's certainly in the better half. Here's Dustin. Looks like David Gregory with him.
Back up, please. Back up.
Actually, Brad Gregory. Dustin has already taken 2 drops.
Yeah, his ball was nestling up against the edge of the cart path here, so just trying to find the nearest point of relief here.
So it's 1 drop at a time. Brad Gregory famously helped Jordan Spieth with a drop last year at Baltusrol. It was on our show. That's where it wound up. Nice work by our crew. So first drop, you get clear of the curb. No closer to the hole. And that was up there in front of this. And then the second drop, you can take cart path relief if you want it. You don't have to have it.
Back up, please.
Dustin has already picked up his ball, so he's going to get it.
Whoever's to my right, back up, please.
Oh, we're not even going to count that drop. No, it didn't come from shoulder height. There you go. It also went closer to the hole. That one's good, and that one's probably in play. And while that's going on, Jason Day's ready to go. We're going to change that, by the way, in 2019. The drop could come from as low as an inch.
Might not be a drop.
Well, it has to be a drop.
It has to move through the air.
That's it. Yeah.
Jason Day with an 8-iron here now from 174 yards. Wind behind from the left.
Oh, nice bounce. You like that proposed change about the drop?
That's a good question. I I don't know. I haven't thought much about it.
Put your phone away, please.
This is quite a narrow gap for Dustin Johnson. He's 193 yards from this spot. Going to play that cut through the gap and bring it back towards the green.
Get in the hole!
Oh, just came out a little soft on him, but that's okay. To me, you know, we watched the ruling there. We're not here to watch. It's not a dropping contest.
So you like it?
I do. I can't imagine too many times when it's going to make too much of a difference, and all the times that it's going to save us time.
It will absolutely save time. There's no question about that.
Yeah, to me it's worth it. Day climbing the leaderboard, one shot out of second. Featured group on the 9th. We'll take them all the way through. Kisner, all those playoff losses. I think there were 4 in one season. Finally broke through and now leads a major championship at the halfway mark.
Matsuyama 3 under through 12.
How about DA points? All the talk this week about Fowler, McIlroy, Spieth. DA points lost in a playoff here that involved both Ricky Fowler and Rory McIlroy. Grayson Murray dropped a couple shots early, but he's hanging in there.
Justin Thomas, it was right up there at the U.S. Open, and I thought a very interesting comment that he made after the Sunday round. He said he never really got a chance to hit a shot on that last night on Sunday that mattered. That he wanted to be in that situation, not necessarily win, okay, but at least, have to hit a shot under that pressure, and he just never got a chance to do so. Played himself out of it, as obviously Brooks Koepka was doing what he was doing.
Yeah, isn't that interesting perspective? As I know you coach so many elements of this game besides just the swing. There were plenty of shots that mattered. Unfortunately for Justin Thomas, they were tee shots that went various places. Those shots mattered. Here's Dustin's third.
Beautiful control there.
Trying to remember if he hit his first tee shot into the hazard left at 1 or not. I don't remember, but you understand. He's thinking about an 8-foot putt to build some momentum. How about a 3-wood that finds a fairway?
Well, and I think really more than that, it's having that ability to reflect upon a positive in that environment to go forward. What can you learn from that experience? Even though you might not have won, you have this memory or this shot or something that might help you in a future major championship. It was a very interesting perspective for me when I heard him say that. His thoughts, his perspective of that situation, I found fascinating.
Yeah.
And you go back to the shot that Charlie Hoffman hit last week. That was, the social media buzz on that thing was phenomenal. Hey, I'm not playing for second. I'm tired of finishing second. I want to try to win. And the money's great and everything that's out here, but really, that's what these players want to do. They want to win, and they want to win major championships. They want to win tournaments that seem to have a little bit more. It's just I love that perspective of wanting to compete.
Stenson now for birdie at the 9th.
Had a great opportunity back at 8 that he let slip away, and that 6 at the par 5 7th was an unforced error on a couple of occasions. Go. He's starting to get frustrated. Those 3 holes in a row, 7, 8, 9. Walks out of there 1 over. And you're really almost thinking you're going to get out of there 2 under.
Great birdie opportunity coming up at 10, though.
Yeah.
So some opportunities squandered. But one more coming up. Kyle Rudolph, NFL tight end, rooting for Jason Day. And he wants to say, he's heating up. I think something like that.
I like the way you did that.
Well, this would really put a charge in this leaderboard if this went in.
Good aggressive stroke, you bet.
Oh, wow. Hang on to your hats. Jason Day 4 under through his last 3, coming to a par 5.
Come on, Jason.
The whole beginning of this season, worried about injury and his health, and then stepping aside because of the cancer battle that his mother is going through. Jason's focus has not been on this game. Understandably so. He seems back now.
His interview was fantastic on Monday. He was a different guy in there. The way he said the things that he said, he wants to be a relevant story.
Dustin for a scrambling par. Just got a read from Jason Day. And used it well. 1 over for the championship, a couple over today. Chance to reach a par 5 in 2 when we come back. Day moves into second as he charges toward Kisner.
Pointed in what's gone on this year. Talked about the motivation and the frustration all in one that he's feeling.
He should be able to blow it by that bunker on the left. May not be able to carry it, but he'll get past it. May not be able to carry it.
Will get left of it. Looked like it did, but it also looked like it sat down on that 3rd bounce.
Well, you can chase it on at 10. And right now you got to figure that he's feeling like trying it. Day feeling a little bulletproof right now. Dustin Johnson next.
That's better.
Oh, sure. 300 to carry that bunker, and he does it easily. Stenson back to the driver. It went well. The aggressive play at 8. So stop the presses. Henrik Stenson is hitting the driver a little bit today. Earlier today, Andre Iguodala told us that one of the reasons why he likes Henrik Stenson is that they both struggle with their driver. They both hit their 3-wood a lot. Well, Stenson going back to the big dog. Big Andre is going to join us when we come back.
Far right. I hit a couple draws with it.
It's a full-on field day for Andre Iguodala. He's doing internet, TV. He's walking with anybody he wants.
Hardly feels like a job, does it? This isn't a job.
Getting lessons.
This is an adventure.
Yes, it is. It's fun, though.
Well,
it is fun.
Well, we are glad. This game is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be an escape. It's only work for these guys. How about the old multicolored pen that Colin Swatton's using? I mean, when was the last time you had to use one of those?
Darren Stiles, who I used to teach a lot, and you may know this, by the way, he used to have 3 or 4 different pens that he would carry in his pocket, and he would mark pars and birdies and bogeys in different colors.
Yeah, you told me he keeps the neatest scorecard in the game.
The best scorecard.
Swatton and Day. He's become a real father figure, as well as obviously his swing coach, mentor. But there's one thing about Jason Day which is undeniable. He never, ever gives up. He may have been, struggling with his form for the reasons you've outlined so far. But there is a desire and a will to succeed that is a massive part of his armory.
We know that under normal conditions, he could reach this green. What do you think of this lie, Shane?
Well, it's settled down. Stenson will be first to go from 263 yards out. Then it will be Jason from that left-hand rough.
I don't think Jason knows that. Ready golf at the PGA Championship. And ultimately, you'd love to get it down past. There's a bunker about 30 yards short of the green. If you can get it past that, into that little collection area, the pitch shot is pretty easy.
Yeah, he's in a good position now, Jason Day. You can see everything ahead of him.
Did he just lay out right of that bunker?
He did indeed. He's in the center of the fairway, just short of the green.
So obviously didn't feel like even challenging it. Now Stenson.
Showed a little bit of frustration on the 9th green after missing that birdie opportunity and making bogey at 7 and missing the 6-footer at 8. You don't really see that typically. I kind of look at Henrik Stenson almost like a Bjorn Borg kind of guy. Very, very calm. I'm sure, Andre, in your sport, there are a few like that that kind of keep their emotions in check, not too high, not too low. Anybody on your team?
Kawhi Leonard shows no emotions. But
there you go.
He's a killer out there.
The silver medalist, Justin Rose, who was in our morning feature group, the gold medalist. Jason Day, by the way, able to lay it up because he knew he wasn't getting there. The green's still occupied. Andre, excuse me for not knowing this, but have you had a turn on the Olympic team?
Yes. 2012 in London and the World Championships 2010. So got fortunate to have 2 gold medals.
Fortunate. Very humble.
At the house,
Nicely
do you
done.
have...
Like, I'm just hoping it doesn't fall off the wherever's land. And then I don't know where the other one's at. I think my mom has it. But I'm not good. I'm not good with that stuff.
Well, I know what to get you for Christmas.
Stenson with 269, and this the rarely seen 17-degree fairway wood. And since we have Andre Iguodala here, and he's a equipment geek, the hosel is all black instead of silver, and the face of this club black instead of silver. Wow, that's how you know. Same shaft, and they're both pretty old.
Yeah, his irons are old too.
Gripping down on this a little bit. Possibly trying to cut it.
Going right at it.
Oh.
Oh.
You see how softly that landed. Partially to your point, just stay there.
Sit.
DJ's got an iron out from 248.
That was certainly better when it was on the green. It's not terrible where it is now. And Stenson in a much more manageable position than that one. That is going to be a quick third shot for Dustin Johnson.
Not a lot of margin for error there on that green. Where that hole is located, probably about 15 yards to the left or to the right, and it will funnel off. You can see right there on that ridge off the right hand side, the golfer's right, player's right, it funnels down where DJ's ball is, and then the shot that Henrik hit just caught the front edge and then caught that false side.
Day with some precision here. Step it off. And he's counting his steps there, Andre. The number he's going to get is 58 yards. And what he's trying to figure out, can he from this distance land it on the green and get it to stop enough, or does he have to bounce one in there and everything goes to the left when it lands? These guys almost always fly it in and stop it quickly, but this week the greens are so firm and so fast. Yeah, there you go. There's the gesture. They don't have the kind of control they normally have.
He's got 15 yards. The flag is about 14 paces onto the green, so he may feel like he's got enough room to kind of get it to land fairly close to the front edge and allow for 20 to 30 feet of rollout. Looks like a lofted club.
And the longer it takes to hit this shot, Michael, it seems like the more indecision there is.
Got a nice sound to it.
Spun it. And that for another birdie. You just don't see tour players, especially guys Jason Day's caliber, sweating that much from 58 yards, Michael.
You know, and I'll tell you something that's interesting. So I was looking through some statistics from the prior year, and the individual that had the closest proximity on that yardage, which I won't get into that, but what was very interesting was the individual that had the best proximity to the hole from 50 to 75 yards only hit the shot 16 times for the entire year, which was very interesting to me. It's one of the yardages that this caliber of player doesn't hit very often. Not that they don't practice it.
This year it's Seamus Power.
How many shots has he hit? Do you have that information? What's the proximity?
13 attempts for Seamus Power.
13 attempts.
7 feet 10 inches.
And that's the part to me that's so.
I knifed it.
Uh-oh. He got a little bit of spin. Is it going to stay?
He said, I knifed it. Have you ever said that, Andre?
It's a hell of a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You hit that one, you go, yeah, I like that one. Get some high fives around from everybody, right?
Yes.
He hits that, and it's a bad one. Clank off the backboard, off the rim.
Do you guys actually say in a game, if a guy clanks one off the backboard, it goes in, do you actually tell them they had to call that, like Michael and I would do if we were playing against each other?
We look at each other like that wasn't supposed to go in.
Right. Okay.
It's a lucky shot.
You guys don't have majors necessarily in your sport, but the playoffs are certainly, it's a different experience in the playoffs than, say, a regular season game.
Yes.
What's the mindset? How is that mindset different? Different preparation? What do you do that's different in season versus playoff season?
Well, we always talk about having playoff intentions. in the regular season. And coach always says, well, I know we can't be as amped up, or we can't be as energized for some games as you would a playoff game, because some games have that vibe. You know, Christmas game has a playoff feel. Certain rivals is a playoff feel. But once you get to the playoffs, you know, you always let the rookies know, or the guys, it's their first time in the playoffs. Like, it's hard to explain, but this is a different feeling. And once they're thrown out there, they're like, whoa. The senses are heightened. There's more attention to detail. Possessions matter more. You know, it's almost like a lip-out putt in, you know, the third tournament of the year. Yeah, it's like, all right, tap in. Well, when you get to a major, you lip out a putt. That can be the difference between, you know, either making a cut or being in contention to win on a Sunday.
Are you more cautious with your shots or your shot selection in a playoff game versus a regular season game? Or is it just a different feel?
Well, you want every shot to be the same. A shot is a shot. You don't want to change that. But you have your intentions of where you want to get shots from in the playoff games. Like, okay, we want to attack this angle against this team. Like, this is their weakness. So we know we want to get here. And then with our team, it's all about ball movement. And we want the defense to work as hard as possible. And there's no other way to implement that than to have that ball movement. So we want to get 4 or 5 passes before we take a shot. Although the second shot might be a good shot, that third or that fourth pass is going to be a great shot.
Dustin could use this.
Like leaving the ball in the right position on the golf course to give yourself the best opportunity, your favorite putt, whatever. Very interesting. Just a fraction off on all these shots, just a little bit.
Well, he wasn't in the right spot with his second shot or that one. That was not a place you could get aggressive. Where his left foot is where you wanted that ball to be. That's where the straight putt would have been.
Yeah. Very interesting. The tee shot was a good one. The approach shot, that iron, he just kind of, it didn't look like he flowed through that shot. He kind of through the hit was a little bit and just lost it a little to the right. And then the pitch just missed that just a fraction. And then obviously the putt.
Okay, now if this little gizmo can read this for us, I'll be very impressive. You see Jason Day making more than half from the 5 to 10 foot range.
And he also in that interview talked about how the putting has not been his best putting year. Short game and putting have not been up to his standards.
He's got to get out of Ohio.
He knows that. 53rd in strokes gained putting for the season. This will move to the right. Oh, Jason Day. Another birdie. 5 under in a 4-hole stretch. Now solo third. All right, Stenson has this for birdie. Remember, Henrik is trying to make sure he's around on the weekend. The 4 overs are in. Oh, and now you can't hit it. The 4 overs are in. 5 overs are barely out. But you hear the horn. And that is bad news. We were afraid of that. We saw the weather warnings earlier, then it cleared up, and now play suspended. These pop-up thunderstorms that are moving in from the southwest. One of them has finally lined us up.
We had to step away because of the weather.
This putt will be a little bit of a cut putt. It'll move to his right. It should have a little pace to it. Just hit it through the break. BK, I have not seen Jason play in a little bit, but that white putter, wasn't he using the red one forever? When did he go to the white one?
It's the first time we saw it last week.
Yeah, last week at Akron he was employing the white one.
That's right. Last week, don't know where before that it may have shown up. I didn't see it. His last start before that was at the Open Championship, and it might have had a rain jacket on.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Possible.
He does look great over the putts, though. I know he missed that par putt, but there's just a beautiful technique at play and just really steady and keeps that head so still.
Jason missed the cut at the U.S. Open, and then the next week, the Travelers Championship. A 27th place finish at Royal Birkdale, 24th last week. Gradually getting back to form. Stenson, fairway to green, a chance for back-to-back birdies.
Straight out of the gate as well with a wonderful drive, and then that magnificent shot from 190 yards to here. A little bit of a cheeky break on this one from left to right.
Got some of the hole. He's had his chances.
2 over par for the championship will play the weekend easily. We'll be monitoring that cut line. 5 over is currently in. If somehow 10 more players were to have disasters, the 6s would have a chance. 5 is in on the number right now. There are 79 players. 5 over or better. It's a tie for 70th. Dustin Johnson with no such worries.